Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of The Professional Fan. I am the professional fan, Mike Antonace, or Professional Mike. Today, I want to talk about something really interesting. We've been talking a lot of Shedeur Sanders recently, and I think it's in our best interest to talk about the thing that keeps getting brought up is what would Shedeur Sanders look like with a running game? And is Shedeur Sanders, if he starts the season for the Browns, going to have a running game? Obviously, we no longer have Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt is long gone. Before the draft, the only running back we had on roster was Jerome Ford. We drafted Judkins with pick 36th and Dylan Sampson with our first pick in the 4th round. So, what does that look like with Shedeur Sanders if and when he starts this year? So, I love this picture, by the way. You got Shedeur and you got Quinshawn absolutely cheesing it. Judkins is an absolute animal, and he's going to be fantastic. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see Shedeur Sanders with a real, honest-to-God run game. But what does that look like? Some of you may be a little unfamiliar with Quinshawn. Some of you may be more unfamiliar with Dylan Sampson. So I want to take this opportunity to kind of get down into it, see some stats, go back into their collegiate stats, and see what can happen when Shedeur starts with this run game. Now, Quinshawn Judkins, the first and foremost pick. We picked him with pick 36, which was the Jacksonville Jaguars pick. Joseph is backstage being nice enough to control this for me. So here we are. Quinshawn Judkins now started 2 years for Ole Miss before he transferred to Ohio State and where he played last year. So in 22, on 274 rushing attempts, he had 1,500 yards, over 1,500 yards, 1,567 yards per attempt, 5.7 yards a carry, and 16 tutties, with an additional 132 yards receiving and 1 receiving touchdown. 23, Judkins had 271 attempts for 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns, 149 receiving, and played in over 290 plays in Ole Miss. Now, when he transferred to Ohio State, it gets a little bit more interesting because as a Buckeye, he was splitting carries with Travion Henderson, who is the premier back. So his attempts went way down, only 194 attempts, but on those 194 attempts, he had over 1,000 yards, 5.5 yards a carry, 14 touchdowns. So 3 years of double-digit touchdowns for Quinshawn Judkins in college, with an additional 161 yards receiving and 2 receiving touchdowns. So Quinshawn Judkins probably shouldn't have been there at pick 36. We said on a couple of our previous shows, it's a little shocking that he was even there, but this was a very stout running back class. So I think that contributed to him dropping, but having a Quinshawn Judkins was going to help Shedeur's game immensely when he starts. Because at the end of the day, what's the biggest thing you can do for a rookie quarterback? It doesn't matter how talented that rookie quarterback is or isn't, for that matter. What is the biggest thing you can help a rookie quarterback besides a great O-line is a great run game. You have a great run game, you're helping out a rookie quarterback immensely. Because, for one, keeping the defense on the opposing team guessing. And 2, you're also opening up play action. You're allowing for more time in between plays, get acclimated, all that good stuff. You keep the defense fresh, which is also going to be helping Shedeur. And Quinshawn's just a machine, dude. Like, he's an athletic freak. 3-year starter in college. And I think it was almost more impressive what he did at OSU just because of the fact that he was splitting carries and, like, you didn't know who was the better back between him and Travion. Both are fantastic running backs and both went into great situations. But Quinshon as the premier back with Shedeur, I think, is going to be great. Now, I will say this. I think Shedeur is going to benefit from a different kind of Browns running game than what I've seen as a Browns fan in my time watching the Browns, which is all my life. So the thing that I think Shedeur is going to be benefiting from that previous quarterbacks and previous running games just didn't benefit from is I think both of our running backs now can catch. I think both of our running backs now can run routes. I think both of our running backs now can block. And I think while Nick Chubb, I'm going to miss him, one of the best Browns ever, not just running backs, but one of the best Cleveland Browns to ever put on a uniform. You know, he wasn't a perfect player, and he was just as a running back, no one you wanted more out there. But as a pass catcher, that was Nick Chubb's weak point. Couldn't really, spread it out of the field. You couldn't run like the whip and curl routes that you want. But Quinshon Judkins can do that all day long. Now, he wasn't asked to do that a ton, but when he did, he looked incredibly impressive, and he can even run some of those goal line routes that you want to see running backs run. When we get to Dylan Sampson, I'm going to kind of jump into that as well. And Dylan Sampson, I'm the biggest Dylan Sampson fan. And if you're just joining us, you see the banner there. Please like, subscribe, and share this content. We're covering the Browns now until the season starts. We're going to be calling games, all that good stuff. Everything Shedeur, everything Cleveland Browns. We're going to be just diving into it. So like, subscribe, and share this content. If you haven't already, greatly appreciate it. Me and Joseph are up and coming. Yeah. Look at him. He's controlling the track behind the scenes. But yeah, so oh man, my train of thought just completely got derailed. So Judkins and Shedeur, I think, is going to be a great duo. I think that's going to be something that we're going to all be very excited to see. Now let's pop up Dylan Sampson's stats, someone who I just love talking about. All right, so this is SEC Offensive Player of the Year last year. 3-year starter. I'm sorry. He actually only started 1 year because he was hurt the previous year, and he didn't start his freshman year. But anyway, 3 years at Tennessee. First year, only 58 attempts, 397 yards on 58 attempts, which is very impressive. 6.8 yards per carry, which is fantastic. 6 tutties, 24 yards receiving. Second year, 106 attempts for 604 yards. 7 tutties, about 175 yards receiving, and 1 receiving touchdown. And last year, the dam really broke when he was started. He was healthy. 258 attempts, 1,491 yards for 5.8 yards per carry, 22 touchdowns, and 142 yards receiving. Dylan Sampson is an absolute machine. I think he could easily be a starting running back elsewhere, and also he's already been starting to get a lot of playing time with Shedeur. He's been catching a lot of passes from Shedeur in rookie minicamp, in OTAs already. And Dylan Sampson, man, I'm almost running out of words to say about him. I can't tell you how impressed I am with this kid. And if you don't know, our owner as well, Jimmy Haslam, is like one of the Tennessee Volunteers' biggest NIL donors. He's a Tennessee alum. So I bet he's real happy to have Mr. Sampson in the building. And yeah, this two-headed kind of dragon that we're going to be running out here, it's just very classic Cleveland Browns football. For a long time, the Browns have always had their bread and butter on the run game and having 2 capable starting running backs. And Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins is going to absolutely be that. And that's only going to help Shedeur. Again, Dylan Sampson can do all the things that you want a starting running back to do, and everything and more that you would want a third down back to do. Dude can block. Dude can run a route. Dude can absolutely shred a defense if he breaks a tackle, and he can. He's super strong. You can break a tackle like it's nobody's business. He's just a bowling ball that's going like 25 miles an hour, man. Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins in this run game is going to be fantastic. And with the wide zone scheme that we're running again, that's the big thing that I kind of wanted to hit on too, is not only the personnel that the Browns have added this offseason through the draft, but also the fact that we're now going to be having the old school wide zone blocking scheme and run scheme. So a lot of wham blocks, a lot of pulling guards, all that good stuff. Getting your offensive linemen into space. That's what this offensive line was made to do. A lot of the guys that we have on our offensive line were brought in to do that. And unfortunately, because of the Deshaun Watson debacle, we were telling these guys that have been doing one thing and were made to do one thing their entire career, essentially, to do something completely different. And last year, the offensive line suffered. Obviously, the running back room suffered. No Nick Chubb for most of the year. And you just having Jerome Ford and, oh my God, I'm blanking on it, Deontay Foreman out there. And and Pierce Strong Jr. So going back to the wide zone scheme and just having two running backs that are incredibly talented, like a Quinshon and like a Dylan Sampson, is going to just help Shedeur immensely. He's never had a running game at Colorado, and it's just going to be great to watch, great to see. And yeah, I can't wait to see it, guys. I mean, Dylan Sampson alone is just going to be insane, and I'm so excited for him. But we got a comment. Cedric Pratt, thank you for commenting. Thank you for joining the show. Shedeur would dominate with a run game because the numbers he put up in Boulder without a run game. Everyone knew he was throwing on first, second, and third down. A rushing game, keep the defense honest. Absolutely. And Cedric, at the end of the day, like this is what the Browns do best. And this is what Kevin Stefanski does best. Kevin Stefanski, if you don't know, comes from the Gary Kubiak kind of style of offense with a wide zone scheme, that kind of Kyle Shanahan West Coast offense, which is extremely quarterback friendly because it does lean so heavily on the run. It's super rookie friendly, super quarterback friendly. And I think Shedeur is going to absolutely just eat and feast off of this run game when he starts this year. And also he's going to have plenty of time to get acclimated with these guys, because another good thing that kind of goes a little unnoticed is he's getting drafted with his two starting running backs. You know, he's going to have plenty of time to get to know these guys. You know, they're in the same rookie class. Him, Judkins, and Sampson, all rookies. They're all going to learn the system together, and they're all going to get acclimated together, which I think is another kind of aspect that people aren't totally talking about. But yeah, I think that's going to be super exciting to watch. Fadama D says, agree 100%. Salute to you, Fadama. I pray to God that I'm saying that correctly. Thank you for joining the show, guys. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, leave a like, all that good stuff. But now I'm going to bring up the main man himself, number one brother, Joseph Latman.
Hello.
Yeah, you didn't think I'd add you to the stage.
Yeah, no, I mean, I used to be on the other side of this. I used to add you to the stage. But no, good stuff, man. That was a really good opening monologue. Salute to we gotta get the round of applause. Shout out to everybody in the chat going as well. So salute to everybody. Welcome on in. But no, I like what you said about the running game. You know, I think you made some good points. Oh, wrong button. You made some good points about how it can help Shedeur. I think how it can help all these quarterbacks, Mike. I think last year all our quarterbacks didn't really have a lot of help, just because the running game wasn't good. It was an old different a real bland scheme, in my opinion, just a basic inside zone scheme. The O-line wasn't healthy last year. I don't think they had the depth at running back either, because Nick Chubb was coming off the injury. You know, I actually think we go 3 deep at running back. I mean, I know everybody's talking about the 2 rookies, which they're great. I think Judkins will be the starter. I think he's the most like Chubb and Kareem. I think Sampson and Four can actually split some carries at the 2 slot. I think Four was fine last year. I think he's been fine his career here. I think his first year, I thought he played actually pretty well down the stretch for a rookie. I mean, 800 yards. I thought he played pretty well. He was really good in Cincinnati. It was a big reason for their offense when they went to the college football playoff. And then I thought last year, even with that crappy scheme and the bad O line, it's still 5 yards a carry, over 5 yards a carry, which is pretty good in the NFL. So, and he had 100 less carries than the year before. I think if they would have given the ball more actually last year, he probably would have still pretty productive. I think he's a pretty good player. So I think they go 3 deep there. But the main two, obviously, Judkins to me is good. He's the big home run guy. I think he's, like I said, he's the most like Chubb and Hunt. And I think Judkins, I don't think Shedeur's ever played with a guy like Quinshon Judkins in his career.
No.
I mean, I think the best running back I saw him with was Dylan Edwards. Dylan Edwards had the home run ability. It just was, he was a really good back, but he ended up leaving Colorado. And last year they had some other guy, I think the Augusta, I think it was, and some other guys, but there just wasn't a consistent running game. But I think with a consistent running game with Shedeur in particular, really all these guys, but really in particular him, because I think we talked about it last night on my show. Should he start from day one? How many games does he need to play? I think he's probably going to play the most games this year out of the 4 because I think there's the most investment in him and the most interest in him. And I think they view him with the highest upside, which I agree with. And so, 3 things I wrote down with a better run game would be, number one, it would help him just establish more rhythm. Obviously, he was the number 1 completion percentage in college football history. So I think with just a better O line and a consistent running game, how much more rhythm could he get into where he can, I think at times at Colorado, they had drives where they couldn't really get it going because they couldn't run the ball. They were a little too predictable. Teams would just blitz him because the O line couldn't protect him. He wasn't able to get a rhythm a lot of times. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't his fault. It's just, and I think, one of the criticisms people gave was he held the ball too long, but I think he was just got in the habit of trying to make something out of nothing because he had to play hero ball a lot of times. And I think he's at his best when he's sitting in the pocket and just dissecting defenses, where he's able to sit and be comfortable, get rhythm, and he can just sit back and do it and just execute, what we need him to do. Yep. And so I think the rhythm, and I think he can deliver the ball on time really well. I think his delivery on time, his timing, and the ball placement is really good. I think he's excellent in that area. I think that'll really help work in this offense, like you said earlier, with the West Coast scheme. And I think, too, it'll help him deliver more. He throws a great deep ball. Deep ball.
One of the best I've seen.
Yeah, one of the better ones in college football last year. So I think it'll help them calculate more of those deep downfield deep shots as well. If it's Jerry Jeudy or whoever the hell it is, I think
if it's Jerry Jeudy or Jerry Jeudy
or whoever, maybe Deontay Johnson's or I don't know, whoever it is, I think it'll help him calculate more of those deep shots down the field because he can throw those. And why stop him from throwing those if he's so good at it in college? Let him continue to do what he's good at and expand on it. But I think you got to set those shots up because the NFL is a lot harder. You got to be a little more calculated, right? You're not going against, Baylor or some other schools. You're going against the cream of the crop every week. It's the NFL. So I think a good running game is going to help him and all these quarterbacks, really, but especially him. I think, like I said, I think he'll play the most games. And I really want to see what he can do in that environment, in that kind of structure.
Yeah, I mean, having that kind of structure with a solid running game is something that, like you said, Shedeur hasn't had his entire collegiate career, and being able to open up the field a little bit and keep the defense honest. I think it's going to be super interesting to see. I mean, you kind of see it with you saw it a little bit with Flacco in 23, but even then, I don't think the run game was as good as it's going to be this season.
I think it'll be better this year because you have fresher legs and guys have more talent, but I think guys have more time in the offseason to get acclimated. Jerome Ford was a rookie that year. I thought he stepped up well for a rookie, and then Nick Chubb, having to go through. I think going through all the quarterbacks did that year too probably didn't help either because each quarterback was different. You know what I mean? So when they put DTR in there, they were running direct runs with DTR. So I don't like that, but I think now they have a legit system. I think a healthy O line, and I mean, you look at the O line and itself. I think the tackle position, I think, will be better than it was 2 years ago. Because even 2 years ago, you still had Jed Wills, who was kind of 50-50 at times. DeJuan Jones was really good as a rookie, but it was still some rookie moments. He needed to lose weight still, which he's done this offseason. Kudos to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think they're just better overall. I just think that they're just a lot better now. Like I think there's just more. They have the whole off season. Guys are healthy, and I think they have younger legs and more diversity now in that run game as well, or in that backfield. Excuse me, because you got Dylan Sampson, somebody I don't think we've ever really had with that.
No.
Even Kareem, but I don't know if Kareem was that elusive in the passing game.
No, he wasn't. And here's the thing too. Kareem had like Kareem's bag was he was super athletic and he could break out a big one. But mostly it's because of his running style was just reckless and like
he was
run
great
with
at bouncing
abandon.
outside.
Yeah, bouncing outside, insane contact balance. But I think Dylan Sampson is faster than Kareem. And which is why also another reason why I think he's going to just be far more effective in the pass game, man. I mean, we just haven't not just for Shedeur, but just for the Browns. It's been a while since I think we've had running backs with this level of talent. Like, yeah, we had Nick Chubb for forever, but Kareem Hunt was good for what was it, 2 years, because he was close to
2020 was
really good
2020
years.
Was his best year.
Yeah, and then
21 was kind of a down year for everybody because Baker wasn't hurt, and it was just kind of a weird year.
Yeah,
weird year. 22, I thought he played well. And then 23 he played really well. I think he was their leading touchdown, led the team in touchdown scored. So, and then last year,
he didn't have a lot of yards.
Or no, last year he played with the Chiefs, but 23 he stepped into the role obviously after Nick got hurt, and but still was a leading touchdown scorer. So, but I think 2020 is what I would go look at. But I think with the offense they're going to be doing, I know everybody expects them to go back to 2023 offense, which I think that'd be their principles. But I think with guys like Shedeur, hell, even drafting Dylan Gabriel, I think, and bringing in a younger mind and Tommy Reese, and you brought in a Billy Musgrave and upgraded him. I think Tommy Reese alone, from knowing his background, he's going to bring in some newer concepts. You know what I mean? Even Molly agrees. He's going to bring in some newer concepts. Yeah, shout out to Molly. He's going to bring in some newer concepts, and I think that's going to help them do more things with a guy like Dylan Sampson. They can go empty set, Mike. You can go even. I mean, you got 2 tight ends now. You can line up outside. I mean, what if they went in a heavier package? Let's say they went like a 12 personnel package or even a 13 and put Dylan Sampson out there. Maybe you can go empty spread and go down the field in certain package. I mean, get certain defenses. You can use that. It's available. You can do all kinds of different things. You can do all to keep the one thing I think the Browns didn't do good last year, Mike, was keep the defense off balance. Yeah. I think they have with these 2 guys now back there, especially at Dylan Sampson with his how multiple he is. It's only going to help them more. And I think now they have a quarterback in there, 2 quarterbacks in there, and Flacco for sure. And I think Shedeur will be the guy that plays the most games. I know Gabriel was taken ahead of him, and who knows, maybe he'll compete and win it. But can he pick it? Possibly. But I don't expect those 2, Mike, to be out there more than Flacco and Shedeur. I just think Flacco and Shedeur is better than the other 2 in the room, honestly. So,
yeah,
I think Shedeur or Flacco out there with that running game and that more diverse offense now. I think it's only going to enhance them more, where they can, get rhythm going. Like I said, take the simple passes early on in the games. Start to calculate more of those deep shots down the field, which both of them can throw. Even Flacco at 40 can still throw a pretty ball down the field. Still got a little bit of juice in that arm, and so I think that's what I'm looking forward to with all this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think you kind of just hit the nail on the head. I mean, just being able to open up the pass game again and just being able to just have that kind of offense. Now, I wanted to ask you kind of what you thought of what I had said earlier too about the fact that they are being drafted together, because that's a little bit unique too. In that you have both of your starting running backs and your potential starting rookie quarterback all being drafted together, and that's 2 of the most important parts of the offense.
Yeah, I think like what Tune In Sports said here, shout out to Tune In Sports, that you have to have a strong run game to go with a passing game, or excuse me, you have to have a strong run game to go with the passing. Got to make the game easier for your QB. I think those two coming in together, like you said, both groups. I think them just getting that chemistry together, growing together. I mean, look how it worked for Baker and Chubb when they first came in that year. I thought it flourished because they start off the bat together. I mean, they grew together. And so, yeah, I think it's perfect. I think that's ideal if you can. I mean, I think it only helps, but because they're both learning the playbook together, they're both growing together. You would ideally want them to be on the same timeline together, obviously, and here for the amount of years together. So, yeah, why not?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's just kind of a unique situation too.
Yeah, I think it reminds me a lot of 18, honestly, with Chubb. You know, and Baker. I just think that those two coming in together, and like I said, how they were the flourish. But I think the difference now, though, Mike, is there's more stability now than there was back in 18.
Oh my God.
You know,
that's not hard.
Yeah, I mean, back in 18, you had your head coach was fired after like 5 games or whatever it was, or halfway through the season. Your OC got fired as well. And then you had Freddie Kitchens take over as OC. Who did a nice job as OC. Greg Williams is your head coach. I mean, you just had a lot of turmoil that year, and the O-line still wasn't. You had a good interior O-line, but the tackles were still kind of iffy. I mean, there was a lot of moving pieces around those guys. But I think those two in particular, and Nick Chubb out the bat, when he got that first opportunity against Oakland at that time, against the Raiders in that second Baker game, you just saw it right away. I mean, he just took off. And I think it helped Baker more that year. But I mean, you remember the Falcons game, he busted out that long run. I just think those two, all the reps they had in practice, because they had rookie mini camp, OTAs, you know, these guys, these rookies, they're showing up to everything because they have to. There's no voluntary with these guys. So they're showing up to everything. So all those reps and all that time in the film room and in the playbook with the coaching staff, I mean, it's only going to make it better because those two back there have to be on the same page at all times. They got to be talking constantly, communicating. And I think the quarterback has to have a good feel for his running back, knowing when he needs to get the ball. Like, it's time to run the ball. We've thrown the ball a little bit too much. It's time to run the ball, which is something I think Shedeur really has never really had, because when he's looked back there, I mean, outside of maybe Dylan Edwards in 1 year, but he's never had like a true down-to-down back. He looks back there and he's probably thinking, well, I got to throw it more.
You know, the running back was just another blocker.
Well, not even just the running back. He looks up front too, and he's just like, we can't. You know, I think a lot of times it was probably mainly the O-line just couldn't generate the hole. You know, I mean, they couldn't open the lanes. So, yeah, I think that's a lot of it, or was a lot of it. But I think now, I like that those two groups coming in together. I think they might have did that intentionally. It's not because they just needed both groups, but I think there was probably some intentionality there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm here. I agree. Is it a universe where Gabriel is your franchise quarterback? What's up, tune in?
I don't see it.
I don't. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, anything's possible. It's also possible that I buy a scratch off tomorrow and win like $10 million. But like, you know, it hadn't happened yet, and the Ohio Lottery has a good amount of my funds. So, yeah, I mean, here it's possible. Do I think it's likely? No. I mean, I don't. You know, all reports, at least so far, and I know we're early. I'm not trying to overreact, but a lot of people are saying that Gabriel doesn't have the juice, if you will. It doesn't have the je ne sais quoi. It doesn't have the panache that
he ain't got the height
or that.
You don't have the height. I think he's just too small, and I just think he's gonna have a hard time. When you watch some of his tape in college, sometimes a lot of the far hash throws, the sideline throws, the tight windows where you have to throw it across your body, there's he just didn't see him at times. You know, Kurt Warner broke it down, and you know, he hits his layups pretty well. He hits the middle of the field stuff really well, on time delivery. He's got a nice arm for being that height and left-handed. But I just think the throws he'll have to make down the stretch of a game, especially in a big game when defense start loading the box and rushing them, and I just don't know if he can make those throws. So he just reminds me like a left-handed DTR, honestly. I think he's maybe a little more efficient, but I just see a lot of the same similarities. And I don't know why they would saw DTR the way he was. And nothing against DTR, but he's just, to me, not an NFL quarterback either. and they go out and draft the same kind of quarterback again. It just makes you wonder what the hell was going on in that room that night. Why did you actually draft Dylan Gabriel? Because I'll be honest with you, Mike, I don't think the coaching staff had Dylan Gabriel on their ahead of their board over Shedeur.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to.
I don't buy that because in 2020, from Stump Mitchell, who was on the coaching staff for a long time, said on his podcast recently that back in 2020, when Tristan Wirfs, the tackle, and Jed Wills, the tackle, we ended up taking out of Alabama, was on the board. Bill Callahan had Tristan Wirfs, Mike, graded higher than Jed Wills. And he said, and this is the great Bill Callahan.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the greatest one of the greatest offensive line minds and coaches of all time and developers.
Yeah.
He had Tristan Wirfs ahead of Jed Wills on his draft board, and they still went with Jed Wills.
Yeah, that's shocking.
If they didn't listen to Bill Callahan back then, I think there's been some kind of divide in that room, in that building, Mike, that we've talked about for a while. I think there's a certain department of people we've talked about who sat right next to Andrew Berry that night, Mr. San Diego. I wonder if San Diego, like Dylan Gabriel, because it's very similar to DTR, and I think the coaching staff and ownership probably wanted more Shedeur. But I think ownership's at a place where they're just trying to get it right, and they trust both, and they try to be collaborative. I wonder if there's a scenario where they just let him say, you get your pick and we'll take his pick. And I think seems like there was a feel that people knew Shedeur could fall in the draft. Not saying why he fell, but based on a lot of the reports, I think a lot of teams kind of had some of the same feeling that what could have happened. Or what happened could have happened, excuse me.
Right. And yeah, I don't think we'll ever really know the ins and outs of why he fell. I mean, I think we're all in pretty much agreement that he shouldn't have. I mean, the talent of Shedeur is like undeniable.
He should have got out of second round.
No, he shouldn't have. Like second round at worst.
Right.
And I mean, we're not the only ones saying that. I'm pretty sure that's not a hot take.
Here, if Kenny Pickett was a first round pick in that draft, he should have been a first round pick then.
God. But yeah, man, like I don't think, to answer your question, Tuna, no, I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns anytime soon. Gilgamesh says his dad didn't run the ball to stat pad Shedeur. I gotta disagree, Gilgamesh. I mean, here I had no skin in the game until recently when he was drafted to the Browns. Really watching that Colorado team, man. I mean, they just didn't have the run blocking, man, or the running back talent. But like on all levels for a successful run game, they really didn't have it. I mean, they didn't have good enough guards, good enough center to actually like open up the lane, like Joseph was saying. And also, even if they did, the running back wasn't exactly like stellar. I mean, even just look at the sack numbers. Like it wasn't a great O-line, wasn't a great running situation for a successful run game. So, I mean, they had to pass.
Yeah, and I think too. I mean, my gosh, look at that receiver room they had. That was a pretty damn good receiver. Yeah. Obviously, you got the unicorn and Travis Hunter. But then you had LeJounte Wester, you had Jimmy Horn Jr., who fast as hell. You had Will Shepard. I mean, you had Amari Miller, and you got all those weapons out there. Why wouldn't you throw? I mean, you're in the Big 12, which you can air it out a little bit more. I think their philosophy was trying to get a certain amount of stops a game, put pressure on the quarterback, try to force turnovers, and I think their way was just trying to outscore opponents because the running game there was no game where they just ran the ball down somebody's throat. That's how they won the game, chewing the clock.
Right.
It was always they had to throw the ball. So, no, I don't think he stat padded. I just think he just did what he felt was comfortable, and I'm sure he had more trust in his son because it's his son. So, yeah, I think that's all that was.
Yeah.
Right, shout out to Roddy's in the house, Mike. My guy.
Ronnie, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh. Browns going 5-12 don't matter, and picking another QB next year, it's the Browns' way. Really, this is the first time we picked a QB since 2018. Unless you count DTR. But like,
I would. I mean, they're the same round.
Yeah, I mean, DTR was what, 2 years ago. So, and here they didn't pick DTR to start. Shedeur has the ability to start, and here we could win 5 games. Who knows? But if Shedeur looks good, that's really all that matters. I mean, we're at the evaluation portion of our soft rebuild. But yeah, I mean, here we're only 2 seasons removed for winning 11 games, and we're 1 season removed for winning 3. It's really just depends on the kind of quarterback play we get and how the offense looks with the new run game. Could surprise us. Don't you think Stefanski is purposely allowing Shedeur to do 11 on 11s without the cameras?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Stefanski's trying to do anything intentionally with Shedeur. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many days? I mean, how many media access days has the media had so far?
Well, so I think I know.
So
what
I know
you're
today they
talking
had the
about,
golf
Ronnie. There'll
event.
be the media is going to have access to Shedeur's 11 on 11s on Wednesday. So I think they just started soft 11 on 11s. I don't think the media had access to it. They were just able to ask about the practice.
Yeah, because the first practice was the first practice. It was a first practice. Like I don't think they were doing a whole lot that day, anyways. More like red zone stuff and basic stuff.
Yeah,
which is
so
why
this
the
Wednesday is gonna
stat
be-
thing was a little silly. But
Yeah.
but I think now this week, this is week 2 now. So I think Wednesday we should see it then. The 11 on 11s, and I think that's when we'll start to see him in live action, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think everybody else is. I mean, you want to see what those reps look like, and even if he messes up a little bit, I mean, it's just still OTAs. If anybody messes up, it's still OTAs. So, but I mean, yeah, I think we'll see it Wednesday though. That'd be interesting to see what that looks like with Myles Garrett, or not Myles, he's not there. With Mason Graham, excuse me, coming up the middle, and just being in that speed of the NFL game. I mean, it gets a lot faster than college even. So each level you move up, it gets faster. And I said on the show last week, Mike, those throws you threw in college where you maybe thought you had a split second to get the ball to receiver, maybe a second or two, now take half of that off. That's probably what it's going to be in the NFL. You're trying to throw a ball quick when Denzel Ward's closing in on it. You better get it there quick. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Because I think the only thing with Shedeur, Mike, when I see some of his throws, is I think at times he gets the ball, his placement's really good. His arm strength, I think, is actually fine. But I think sometimes he'll have some wobbly pass, which a lot of younger players usually do. But I think they're working on. I think wasn't there a report saying they're working with some of that, like with the footwork and the
and he's actually working on it himself too, from what I read.
Yeah, I think some of that might just be getting used to dropping back from under center. It's a different, it's a different kind of feel rather than catching it in the gun, 3-step, step. I think that's probably some of it. So I mean, he'll get better. He's got time to get better. I mean, you got time from now till the season. So, but overall, I think he throws a pretty good ball. So, but yeah, that's really. I think Wednesday we'll see it then. Chuno Tay says, "What y'all think? Thinks Brown organization excuse is going to be when they have to explain the mistake of drafting Dillon before 12."
I mean, I think if Shedeur works out, I don't think it's even going to be a talking point.
Yeah, they'll just try to sweep it under the rug. But why do you think they took him first? I mean, I
really don't know, man.
I gave my theory why. I think it was both departments in the building maybe got.
Yeah, I mean, here I think that's the most feasible. I couldn't tell you. I mean, from a pure football standpoint, I mean, I don't think Dillon Gabriel's like the worst ever, but I also don't think he was worth the 99th overall pick.
He's not
I certainly think that Shedeur is way better than the 160 or something wherever he was drafted.
He's better than Dillon Gabriel.
Oh, he's better than Dillon Gabriel. He's better than Tyler Shough. In my opinion, he's better than Jackson Dart. Like I had him as like the second best quarterback in the entire draft. There was an argument to be made that he was the first best. So I don't know why Gabriel got picked. I like your explanation. I think that makes the most sense, Joseph. But
as far as say that as people, not to cut you off, but we've covered them for 3 years now.
Yeah,
and we've looked into that, and I've shown many tapes of how involved that Paul DeBodesta is. and the Browns analytic department's pretty heavy. It's number one. I think they're the number one ranked analytics department in the entire league in terms of analytical use. So wouldn't surprise me. And Jimmy Haslam sees the love Paul. Now I know he's got 1 year left. I don't know if they renewed the deal or not, but
They did not.
it wouldn't surprise me if that was their pick. And I think they may probably thought they'd get Shedeur the next night, because I think a lot of people thought, if you looked at that board at that time, there was only a few teams that possibly could take him. I think the Browns, though, teams have a good feel of who's taking who, how high are they on him. And I think there was obviously some type of something was going out throughout the league about something with Shedeur. That's why he fell. So why and when, why that was and what it was, who knows? But we'll probably never know. But I think that's why they went about it.
Yeah, and here I think that's a great explanation. And
Browns haven't developed a QB since Kelly Holcomb and DT. Shout out to Ro. He's always busting the jokes in the chat. Good to see you, Ro. Kelly Holcomb. My gosh, I don't think we're even. I don't even remember. I don't know. Were we even alive for Kelly Holcomb? We had to be.
I was born in '96, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, so yeah, you probably. I think it was back when they. Yeah, it was when they came back. I was real little. I don't remember. I was born in '99, so. Rodney makes a good point. When Shedeur throws the ball quicker with more urgency, he spins the ball consistently. Yeah, and I agree with that, Ryan. I think a lot of it, Rodney's just, these guys, they're not used to dropping back from center anymore under college. They don't take those. Yeah. That's a different kind of drop back in a way. And plus, you got to get used to turning your back and turning your head back again and locating the defense. So, but I don't think it's terrible either. I think he throws a pretty good ball. I think his footwork's pretty good. I think his mechanics are fine. I think they'll probably tweak some things, but they probably fit with some of the stuff they want to do, but I think he'll be fine. And I agree, Rodney, when he gets the ball out quicker, and I think not only quicker, but that's why I said earlier with the running game at 3 points, I think it's going to help with a solid running game for him, will help him get more in rhythm, which he does a good job of delivering the ball on time already, which I think will help that more. And I think it helps him set up more of those downfield shots. So I think that's all of it is just him getting in a rhythm, getting used to actually having a run game and actually feeling comfortable back there. When you have those many guys in your face consistently because your O-line can't protect up front, you probably start to think you have to get the ball out quicker or try to roll out right, you know what I mean? Or because just out of habit, you're so used to it. So it's all repetition.
Right.
Tune is not a fan of the oh man.
Can't say that I am either. Can't say that I am either.
Yeah. Subscribe to Tune In Sports, by the way. Any NBA fans out there, Cavs fans, go subscribe to Tune In Sports. I go over there, give some commentary. And we talked a lot about the Cavs rumors this last week, and I'm sure we'll do something this week or whenever. So there's so much going on right now in the NBA rumor mill. Plus, we have the finals starting this week as well. So go subscribe to Tune In Sports. Show them some love.
Have the finals starting.
Yeah, start Thursday night.
That's insane.
He said, "Remember when the Browns passed on Big Ben for K2? You can't."
What draft was that? Because I don't remember. Because I was probably very, very young.
Yeah, let me look that up. He probably knows off the top of his head. When was Roethlisberger drafted? 2004.
I was 8.
I was 4. He said, "What's up, guys? What's up, Parent John? Good to see you. Good to see you, Parent John.
Welcome to the party."
I got to ask you a question, though, Mike. I heard some people talking in the local media, right? And Mike Tannenbaum, we talked about yesterday, he said something else on a radio recently, radio show. And he talked about how they need to play Shedeur a lot this year and get to kind of really feel out what you have in him, right? And because next year's you have 2 first-round picks. But I think also, Mike, I think the Browns have a little more comfort this year trying to maybe be a little more aggressive, maybe go get a Chris Olave and try to win more games. Because I think some people expect that Jacksonville pick to be a top 5 pick possibly. So how do you kind of balance that in your mind? I mean, how do you balance trying to compete and win and also trying to evaluate at the same time? I mean, for me, I think you start off the season trying to win as much as you can. I think you should always try to win. I think that's a great culture, trying to win, not lose. And so I think if they could try to win successfully, and even better if it's Shedeur, that's even better. And then now you got those 2 first-round picks you could use at other positions next year. What's your thoughts on that? I mentioned that's kind of like a hot topic I heard today around the airways.
Yeah, I mean, I think you absolutely have to try and win as much as possible. And what boosts a young quarterback's confidence more than winning, you know. And I think through that you'll be evaluating. I mean, when Shedeur starts, and I do believe he's going to make mistakes. Like even Jaden Daniels made mistakes, Drake May made mistakes, Caleb Williams made a ton of mistakes. And they were all great prospects. I mean, CJ Stroud wasn't perfect his first year either. But there is a way to evaluate and win. I mean, I know that the guys that I just mentioned, besides Shedeur, were first round picks. Now, I think Shedeur has first round talent, but it is a fact that the Browns now having 2 first round picks next year, I kind of agree with Mike Tenenbaum, and like they have to play him as much as possible. They really, really have to, just because they got to figure out. They got to figure out if he's the guy. You only have so much time, because if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, the Browns are going to have to look at the quarterback draft class next year. But you get more aggressive and you win a lot of games, and Shedeur's the guy, which I certainly hope he is, and I certainly think he can be. In doing that, I mean, the doors that open are insane. I mean, like, if you get aggressive for Chris Olave and sign him, you have those two. You have him and Judy tied up for the next 3 years. You have a rookie quarterback. You're paying a 5th round salary, and then you can draft. I mean, another receiver. If tackle's taken care of, you don't have to worry about that. Draft another defensive end and get a true first round talent on the other end of Miles, because I think Miles is going to be great for this next contract, but he's going to be 30 this year. And here, Father Time is undefeated, even with Myles Garrett. So you're going to want to start to get younger in the edge room as well. I think it would be the best case scenario, obviously, for all involved. If you play Shedeur, you evaluate as good, and if you're winning, even better. Because I don't think Jacksonville is going to be great, and hopefully it's a top 5 pick, and we can get Caleb Downs, because that would make me so happy. I would be so hype. Give me Caleb Downs of Brown and Orange.
Yeah, he put that in there. Oh, shout out to 5%. At peace, chat. Peace, fellas. Appreciate you, 5%.
Thanks for chatting in.
I hope Shedeur's the guy. Then use the 2 picks on a guy like Caleb Downs. That's the guy I would target, Mike, with that Jacksonville pick. If Jacksonville's a top 5 pick, I'm going after Caleb Downs. He's the guy. Gosh, put him in that defense.
Certified dog, man.
And I think he's been a guy at that position we haven't seen in a while. I think he's that good. He's that elite. I mean, from what I hear from Ohio State, because I covered Ohio State too, and just from what comes out of the Woody Hayes down there. I mean, Caleb Downs is.
It's been a while since I've seen a safety that good.
He is a freak. A freak.
I don't even know if there's like a safety in the league that I can like compare him to. That's how good he is.
I think after Jeremiah Smith being the best player in college football next year, Mike, he might easily be number 2.
Yeah, I mean,
like he's that
when
good.
When you're talking, and here, safety is one of those positions that isn't really. It's not really valued like it was, or like it used to. It's kind of like the running back of the defense. It's still an important position, but like the guys aren't paid what they need to. They'll let huge talents walk all the time. Safety's just kind of become one of those positions, and it's insane that Caleb Downs is that good that people are like, oh yeah, top 3 prospect, easy. Like,
Yeah. No, I agree. That's the guy. He said in Carnell Tate as well. Yeah, Carnell Tate, I mean, I expect him a big year this year, obviously playing opposite of Jeremiah. If he has a big year, he should be like an Emeka Egbuka type guy and get taken in the first round, which maybe the Browns could take Downs first with the Jacksonville and then take Tate or whoever. Maybe the kid from USC, too, is going to be really good with their second pick.
There's a couple guys coming out.
Get an elite receiver in there. Rodney says, Shedeur has been beat up for 2 years. Isn't that a plus for the next level? He's equipped to deal with it. Absolutely, Rodney. I think one of his best, and I think one of his best attributes coming out was his toughness. And I remember the game his first year, I remember he was spitting up blood, and he got up, got hit, and still went out there, ball out, led the team down the field, won the game. I believe it was that one game where when they went on that 3-game stretch game of the season. Remember, he just took a shot and led him down the field, won that game. Might have been the Colorado State game, but he had some moments in Colorado. You're like, that dude is tough as nails. He is a tough dude. I think it will only help him in not only the cold weather, but the AFC North. The AFC North is a gauntlet. It's a dogfight. The teams do not like each other. It's personal.
Yeah. You want to talk about rivalries? The best, like, I've never met, like these are grown men that get paid money. And for a lot of players, like you look at the AFC South, a lot of those guys, it's a job. The Texans and the Colts aren't like at each other's throats. These grown men, millionaires, athletes, when you get to the AFC North, you hate the guys over there. You hate the players in Cincinnati. You hate the players in Pittsburgh. You hate the players in Baltimore. That's just the way it is. I think it's great that Shedeur has been through adversity because the AFC North is no joke. It's real, honest to God animosity. Like the only other rivalries that compare are like NFC East rivalries. Just all that history, all that vitriol. It's real. It's like bled into the organization. It doesn't matter how many times the coaches change, the players change, or even ownership changes. It is there, and you're never going to escape the bad blood. That's just the AFC North. And it's fun to watch as a fan, but like it's a different kind of an atmosphere for a player, I can only imagine.
And I think where you really make your mark as a rookie quarterback like Shedeur is if you go into, we'll use Heinz Field, or you go into against the Baltimore Ravens in that hostile environment, you go down to Cincinnati where they come here to your house and you beat them and like actually beat them like consistently. That's where you really start to make your market start to separate. In this division, that deserves a lot of respect. It takes a lot of
hard to win.
That's why Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow, and why Lamar Jackson's Lamar Jackson, because those guys have won. Why Big Ben was Big Ben all those years, because those guys dominated the division for years, won a lot of games, lost some games, but won a lot of games, and especially protected home too. I mean, it was tough to go to beat Pittsburgh with Big Ben. It's tough to go into Baltimore and beat Lamar. It's tough to go down to Cincinnati and beat Joe Burrow. So when he's healthy, so
is it?
We lost there.
Not for us.
Yes. Well, last year it was.
Well, last year it's hard to beat anybody.
But he's tough. No matter. Anytime you play Joe
Burrow,
Burrow, he's tough. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let Shedeur learn his receivers. He has 3 of his receivers in the NFL. He knew which receiver does what. Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, building chemistry is huge. He's going to love Jerry Jeudy. I mean, Jerry Judy's just the king of separation, and I think this fresh start has been insane for Jerry Jeudy. I mean, it's just like night and day. Like I look at his Denver tape and I see why some teams had trepidation for trading for Jerry Jeudy. And like, it's almost a completely different player, him in orange and brown. It looks like what he was supposed to be coming out of college. Like Joseph was saying on a previous show, and he's my vote for veterans to take another leap. Shedeur's going to love Jerry Jeudy, man. Like at halftime, 50% of the time that dude's just going to be wide open. Like you just got to chuck that thing in his general direction. Cedric,
I think he'll be better this year too.
What was that?
I think he'll be better this year too, because I think now he has 1 year in his belt here. He has consistency now. He's in he's stable now. Like he's in a good environment. You know what I mean? He's in where he's accepted and wanted. He's able to flourish now. So I think he'll only be better than he was last year even.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And here, hopefully Cedric Tillman, if he is what he was before he got hurt, our receiver core, I think, is a little bit better than what we think. But, and I never thought I'd say this, it all hinges on Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
Because if he is like consistently getting 80 to 100 yards a game or close to 1,000-yard receiver, which he was tracking before he got hurt and got more playing time, we're golden,
Yeah. I got a clip here, Mike. Somebody in the chat put up I remember this play. I want to play this, actually. He said the guy from Kansas went at Shedeur's knee, and he got up and threw a touchdown the next play. I remember this play, Mike, and I got it right here, and it was I thought it was a dirty play. You should never hit a guy right here, just out of respect. But here's the play, Mike. I'll let you react to it. Here we go, right here.
Anybody. So hits and go and hits. Sure. Sanders with time
There
again.
it goes.
Waiting. Hanging on to it. Kansas defensive lineman got smothered. Sanders throws, and it's for Shepard, incomplete. There is a marker down in the backfield. Sanders is down.
Oh, this is not good. This is a shot to the knees.
Shedeur Sanders is hurt.
And this is how you fire up a team right here, man. This is one.
There is no foul for roughing the passer. There is ineligible downfield.
Wow.
Offense number 57.
Oh, the refs. Good old refs.
First down.
And I wonder if this is because he's outside the pocket as a scrambler and a runner. But he takes a vicious shot. And I'm glad to see him get up and walk. And this is at the very end of the play here.
How is that not rough?
Wow.
It's Dean Miller.
Oh. And he is going right to the knee. You see Shedeur grab. He does get
hit
off the field. I get it. They do want to hit the near hip and go low. But, man, is it good for college football to see number 2 up.
Yeah, and he threw a touchdown after that. So, yeah, I mean, he got right up and went right back out there and just you know what's interesting about that too, Mike, is how composed he was. I mean, a lot of guys would have been pissed, rightfully so.
I'm surprised none of the players
Yeah, I remember Matt McChesney, a former Colorado Buffalo, responded to that. I think it was that one, but well, maybe it wasn't. I don't want to put Matt in this. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But if I remember correct, but did you see anybody going over there?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, could you imagine if that happened? Even if it was like PJ Walker, it doesn't matter. David and Njoku.
I expect DeJuan Jones and everybody to go over there and kick some ass.
Oh yeah, refs would have to break it up. David and Njoku would be all up in him, dude. David loves a fight.
I expect DeJuan Jones to be up in there and whoever else, Wyatt Teller, whoever.
Oh, Wyatt didn't
get going
like that shit.
Yeah, protect your boy. Go ahead.
The traditional values that quarterback are frowned upon in this era, that's backwards. Dude, you're preaching to the choir. Me and Joseph have talked about that ad nauseum at this point, man. Just the fact that quarterback traits, they're looking for athletes that can play quarterbacks, not quarterbacks that are athletes. And I think Shedeur falls into the latter. He's a quarterback that's just an athlete. He's not an athlete trying to play quarterback. He's just a natural quarterback that is just a good athlete as well.
Well, and these guys, I've said it all along. It's the worst quarterback play we've seen at an all-time high. These guys, it's not their fault either. These are some of the best freaks, best arms, best athletes we've seen in a long time, maybe ever. But they're not being coached properly. It starts in the high school level, and when you get to college, you got guys looking to a sideline, constantly playing in the gun, and they got to look to the sideline to look off a cardboard for the play, and they got to go out there and like the Jackson Dart thing, do a snap count like that, and you're not prepared. That's not quarterback play that we always knew. That's just trying to make it too easy for these guys because you're trying to just score points against bad teams and trying to win and buy championships. But these quarterbacks are not being developed properly anymore, in my opinion. But
no, they're not.
I saw this insane train about the Cavs that actually made me interested. I think the one you're talking about today with the Cooper Flag one. What do you think? They said trade Donovan.
No. Paramjot, no. You see that tweet, you see that post, you just look at it and you say, no. I'm not interested at all. I don't even know if Cooper Flag's going to be good. Yeah, he's a great college prospect, but so was freaking Anthony Bennett was supposed to be great. Come on now. I ain't trading Donovan Mitchell for no Cooper Flag. I ain't doing that. It's crazy. It's crazy talk.
My answer to that is this. Subscribe to Tune in Sports. That's my answer for that.
Yeah.
Honestly. Go ahead, Mike.
Jersey is in the house. He says, Shedeur's greatest asset is his mind. Off the field, has had and will continue to have great NFL mentors around him. Confidence. Yeah. Confidence is key in that position. I mean, I think it's the most important intangible characteristic a quarterback needs to have in order to have success at the professional level. Not a nice thing to have. You need to have confidence as a quarterback.
I think that's his greatest attribute, is his confidence. I really do. Well, you know what it really stood out to me, Mike, was when he got that prank call on draft night when that idiot called him, and when the kids from Ole Miss called and obviously made a terrible calculation. I don't know why they thought to do that, but whatever. When all his family members around him are rightfully so, they're pissed off, right? And everybody's upset. I mean, obviously you thought you were getting drafted by the Saints, you got pranked. It's messed up. How did the number get leaked? All that. This dude just said, "Where that ball at?" and just got up, started throwing the ball, and was telling everybody around him, "Don't worry about it. Don't get mad. It'll be cool. We'll be fine." I mean, that I think might have been the most impressive thing, Mike, I've ever seen him do on and off the field.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm serious. To react like that in that moment, he could easily start throwing shit or or cussing people out, get on the phone, calling people like pissed off, like, "Nah, where's that ball at?" I just want a chance. That's all he wanted was a chance. Like, just give me a shot and I'll do it. And you know what though? Ever since that happened, how he responded that night, and then the next day he got drafted by the Browns, he's handled it as so. He hasn't really said much unless he has to go out and speak to me publicly. But other than that, he's done everything correct. This dude's been great in here. Ever since he's been drafted by the Cleveland Browns, I've heard not one negative headline.
Yeah, no, he's been fantastic here so far.
But that's his greatest. And his confidence, I think, will take him far, far. Because I think that guy, he's never going to get rattled. He don't get rattled. I mean, the way he talks and just the way he responded to that, he doesn't get. You saw him take the hit there. He does not get rattled. So, yeah, that's how I see it.
He is a tough man.
Shout out to Viral Authority. Comment of the night. Punk ass refs. Good to see you again, Viral Authority. Anthony Bennett was not supposed to be great.
I saw that comment and I pulled up his prospect ranking. You want to jump back into a time machine? Let's do it. I got it right here.
Oh, go ahead.
Anthony Bennett, the highest touted prospect selected at the number 1 overall pick in the 2013 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was ranked as the number 1 forward and number 7 player overall. And in the 2012 NBA draft, he was ranked as a top 3 prospect. Some thought that Washington and or Detroit would trade up for the Cavs to get Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett was a top 3 prospect in that draft. People thought he was a for sure fire thing. He was the number 1 prospect in the country in high school as well, even before that. So, yes, people thought Anthony Bennett was going to be great. Was he? No. Nope. No, he wasn't. He's still playing in Canada, apparently.
Is he actually?
I think so, yeah. Actually, when I Googled him, it came up as Canadian basketball player. So, I mean, here. But, yeah.
I remember watching his highlights at the LeBron camp down at Akron U, down at the Jar. And he was pretty good in high school. I mean, dude was a freak, but I'm glad we got Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tune In Sports is laughing. Only the caught awful Cats GM thought Bennett was going to
that comment wrong. Get fact checked. Source.
If it was LeBron coming out of the draft, sure, LO, but Cooper Flag, I'm good to do it. Not for Donovan Mitchell, I wouldn't know.
No.
I don't see why you would do that. Donovan wants to be here anyways, so I mean, you're trying to build a team around Donovan and Evan Mobley. So Anthony Bennett fooled everyone. He's laughing. I don't know. I see shades of Larry Bird and Cooper Flag. Maybe I'm high. I think Cooper Flag is actually going to be really good. I like him a lot. I think I like his style of play. It kind of reminds me of I'm not saying he's these guys, so nobody freak out in the comments. I'm just saying in terms of comparison, in terms of style of game, he's a slower offensive player, meaning he plays more of a slower pace. He likes to take his time. He can create his own shot, uses good footwork, pivots, shot fakes. He's a really good offensive player, very smart. It's very similar to when Kobe came out of high school into the Lakers early on in his career, he used a lot of pivots, shot fakes, wasn't the most athletic guy. He was athletic, but he wasn't the fastest guy, which he even said in his own words. He had to use a lot more of basic fundamentals, right? The way he scored the ball. Kobe had a killer mid-range. This kid's got a really good mid-range. Paul Pierce, another guy, great scorer, played at a slower pace. He played the game slow, right? I think that's what this kid is. He's going to be really good in a half-court setting, which I think in the playoffs he'll be a dominant player in the playoffs. I just think when the game slows down in the playoffs and it's a more of a half-court game, I think this kid's only going to flourish. I think he'll be a great player.
Or you might be high, Paramjot, put down the pipe.
Larry Bird, I don't know.
Put
I mean,
it
Bird
down.
is all-time great, but I think this
thing
kid
down.
is okay, we got spammed. Give me 1 second, Mike. We had a troll. Okay, he's out of here. Sorry about that, guys. I actually clicked on the comment, but anyways, it happens.
It's pretty
let's
even,
see.
Steven, though, to answer the
Yeah,
question.
any mods in the chat? Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. Hey, Toon, I'm gonna make you. Well, I'll do it when I'm done. Toon, I'll make you a mod.
Tunin's laughing about it. I mean, here,
Hey,
if I
Toon,
want
I'm
to
gonna make you a
answer
mod,
Evan's
Toon.
question, I think it's, I can only speak for myself. No complaints.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. The thing is, nobody wants Garland in his contract. I don't know about that, man. I think there's a lot of teams that would want Darius Garland. I mean, he's still a great point guard. I mean, it's just unfortunate he hasn't been healthy in the playoffs. Which sucks. But yeah, like, I don't know.
Toon, I made you a mod. If that ever happens again, Toon, feel free to just kick him out. So, because sometimes we can't, because we're talking and stuff. So just feel free to kick him out. You got the ability now. I gave you the ability. What do you think Cleveland's first round picks upside will be? Talking about Mason Graham. Go ahead, Mike. What do you think his upside will be?
His upside, so Mason Graham has been brought up in a lot of shows, a lot of articles. His stats probably aren't gonna jump off the page, but that's just because of the position he plays. But he's going to cause so much havoc on that defensive line. You're really going to have to watch it. I wouldn't be shocked if he had 3.5 to 4 sacks year one. He's going to have a lot of run stops, but his whole point is going to be taking away the ability to double team Miles and double team our edges and 3 techs and all that good stuff. His numbers aren't going to jump off the page, but you're going to see his effect on the field very easily. I think his upside, if you're asking for a comp, I think a good comp would be, now he had one really good year recently, but yeah, he is a beast. His comp would be like a Daron Payne, from Washington. He had that one year where he had 12 sacks, which is insane for his position. Or even a Dexter Lawrence is a good place where I think his ceiling could be. That's how good Mason Graham is. But from the nose tackle position where he's going to be lining up, he's not going to have the opportunity to get a ton of sacks right away, but you're going to see and feel his effect on the field. But his upside, I mean, his ceiling is that Dexter Lawrence, Daron Payne kind of level, just that insane, big motor, super strong, super disruptive defensive tackle.
So my comp for him has always been the same. I think he could be Cam Hayward for your organization.
I like
Cam Hayward.
Cam
Hayward's a great player, obviously probably future Hall of Famer. It's the standard. But Cam Hayward could stop the run, was a beast at Ohio State in the Big Ten, similar to Mason Graham. I just think, I don't know, I just see a lot of the same intangibles, Mike. An engine in the middle, just a consistent engine, not the most athletic guy, not the most freak, but just does his job at a high level, and it's just a professional, and just I think that's what he could be. I think he could be Cam, and their stats in college are pretty similar. I mean, it's Cam Hayward from 2007 to 2010 for 4 seasons. 2.5 sacks, 3.5, 6.5, 3.5, right? So let's go to Mason Graham. Give me 1 second. Mason Graham in college, Mike. 2.5 sacks, 3 sacks, 3.5 sacks. Very similar. And they both were great at the middle, putting pressure at the middle and stopping the run. They are very similar. Both were the engines. Both were leaders on their teams. I think he could be Cam Hayward for this organization. I really, especially if you take 5th overall, the bar is to get there, I think, is what you expect.
Yeah.
And I've said all along, I said a bit pre-draft process. You heard me. I said I think this kid could be the next Cam Hayward for every organization he goes to.
Yeah.
On the AFC North, you see how great that's been for Pittsburgh all those years. Why is Pittsburgh being able to go from James Harrison to T.J. Watt to all these different defensive players they've had all these years? Because they had that one guy in the middle all the time. He's been the constant. He is salute to Cam Hayward. Go Bucks. Dude is he's been the engine. So I think he could be that.
Yeah. 110. I think Cam Hayward's a great comp for Mason Graham.
Yeah, and that's what Parent John said. Yeah, I agree with you, Parent John. Cam Hayward. Appreciate you. He said if he's not, it's a flop of a pick. Yeah, I mean the bar is pretty high for this kid. I think he's got to be great. He's got to start. He's at all the picks. He's got to start from day one.
Oh yeah, and I think he will.
Yeah, he should be able to stop the run. I agree.
Better eat the run.
Eat the run. Well, Mike, what do you got, bud? You got anything else?
No, I think we covered all our bases. Even managed to talk some Cavs out of nowhere and talk about Anthony Bennett, a name I never thought I'd utter ever again. But yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting this year to see how the run game affects Shedeur, and how it helps him. And man, I'm so excited to watch these young running backs. Any last comments for the folks?
Shedeur Sanders is the out of the Watson situation the Browns need. Evan, appreciate for tuning in. Evan Hussey. I totally agree. Excuse me. I think that's why Haslam was real excited about getting them, because I think Haslam's trying to turn the page. Yeah. And I think what not a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders with the name he already is coming into the NFL, already a big brand. And if he plays well and doing the watch and I think the dog found, don't forget all about it, Mike, because they'll all be out there doing this, buying the gear, buying the jerseys. Probably maybe they'll have the Prime Edition Brown shoes. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
Everybody out there decked out in the Prime gear and all that. So, yeah, I think I hit the nail right on the head, Evan. You anything else you want to add that, Mike?
Yeah, no, it is the perfect out. I just want the Deshaun Watson thing in the complete rearview mirror. Want it gone, want it out.
I hope people really realize too that the potential Shedeur has, the impact he can have in this city in terms of all-time greatness. If he pans out to be the franchise guy that leads them over the promised land, Mike, with the brand he already is.
Oh yeah.
And I said the other night he could challenge LeBron as the most popular athlete in the city, and Jim Brown. Those are the only two I think of, LeBron and Jim Brown, the goats of the Cleveland sports, right? So he could challenge that if he's able to succeed here. Maybe be number one day. Who knows? But he could be more popular than LeBron in Cleveland, which that sounds crazy to some people. And here, I'm from Akron. Obviously, Mike's from Akron. We understand, LeBron's impact. Obviously, probably more than most people. Probably anybody watching in tune knows, obviously. But which that's hard to beat. LeBron was obviously LeBron James, a global superstar, once in a generational player. But I think if you know how important football is here in Cleveland and in Ohio, if the Browns are able to become a contender, a true contender, and Shedeur's the guy that is the man and is a star in this league and gets him over the promised land, Mike, I think he could be number one. I really do. Yeah. I think just because
we've always been a football town. We were talking
shout out to Go Bucks is back. Shedeur has worldwide appeal. Jersey sales already boom. Yeah, he's already got the number one jersey. I mean, this guy, he's already a brand kind of like LeBron was coming into a lot of the same hype coming into the pros, I mean, what do you think about all that? Did you ever think in your lifetime you'd see somebody challenge LeBron James in Cleveland? Now he has to succeed on the field first, obviously. So
yeah, as long as he succeeds on the field, I thought it could have been any quarterback. Like Shedeur already has appeal, which is awesome. But any quarterback that would have won the Browns a Super Bowl would have gotten a statue downtown. That's just the way it is. Like, we've always been a football town. We've always been Browns first. I don't know if it's because we're a glutton for punishment or whatever, but
I mean, if you go to North, and I could say this, if you go to Northeast Ohio on a Friday night, it's unlike anywhere you go in the country, other than maybe Texas and Florida.
A
But
Browns championship would mean the world for the city.
Yeah,
I'd be living off that high
is,
until I passed away of old age. Legit.
Said,
I just want one. That's all I want.
Tune, it would be Tune. And that Cavs championship was great. But that Browns championship, Mike, would Tune. I think people would literally party out in the streets for a week. Like, nobody would go to work. Nobody it'd just be the streets of Cleveland just be shut down for a week, and people would just be out there partying. I really do. I mean, if you thought the Cavs one was crazy, and that Cavs one was crazy, and the way they did it, the hometown kid, everything was awesome. And I'm glad I got to at least see one in that manner, by the way. But the Browns championship, Mike, would be
pandemonium.
That's a movie in itself.
Yeah.
Like, that would be unreal. He said if Joe Flacco would have won it. If the Browns got a Super Bowl next to their name, that's all they care about. We don't give two shits.
Bro, I could have ran out and won it. If anybody wins it, they get the statue. It doesn't matter. It could have been anybody. Anybody.
Free meal in the city. They'll never pay for a meal ever again. He said we'll have to all get together. Oh yeah, we'll definitely be partying, Parent John. We'll all get together and throw a party. I know Mike will probably really be on fire that night and party. Right, Mike?
Absolutely.
He said upside down handstand salute.
Hell yeah, you're not gonna see it. I'm on camera today. I gotta only do the handstand salute off camera.
Yeah, because you gotta see him bust his ass after.
Yeah.
You take out half his living room.
Can't see it this evening. But the next time I'm off camera, I will be doing a handstand salute just for you, Rodney.
Evan said, which AFC North opponent scares you the most this year for the Browns? I would always say the Ravens because I think they're just the best. Yeah. And the Browns haven't won the division since 1986, I believe. Has it 86? Yeah. It's time to try to win the division. Now, a lot of people don't think this year they're going to be a real contending team. I get it. I know PFF had us ranked the worst roster in all of the NFL.
That's ridiculous.
I don't think I agree with that, but I get it. Here, they earned it from last year. It is what it is. So, if I'm them, I'd say the Ravens. If they can compete with the Ravens, if they're going to win the division, they got to compete with the Ravens. So,
yeah.
I don't know what Pittsburgh's going to be this year because last year even you had somewhat of a familiar, it's going to be Fields or Russell Wilson, two vets. I don't know what to expect from Pittsburgh this year, Mike, a quarterback. So, I don't know what's going to happen there. And then in Cincinnati, I know they paid the receivers, but defensively, I don't think they're going to be that good.
No.
Especially if Trey Hendrickson doesn't end up, whatever happens with that. And I think they did him dirty personally. But
Shamar Stewart's still holding out.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think their defense can be good enough to help the offense. And, and who at their offensive line, I think that's always an issue as well. I think they got better, but they got to be able to protect Joe Burrow. I mean, he's already had some injuries. So, I don't know. So I would say Ravens. What about you?
I would agree. I would say the Ravens. I mean, granted, most of the AFC North teams, like the Browns, always split with. Even on bad years, we split with these teams. Like it's just the nature of our division. Like we all have each other's number to a certain extent. So I don't know. I'd say
the team that's giving us the most fits is the Ravens.
Yeah.
So LeBron will probably be at a game. Oh yeah, he'll probably be at the first Shedeur game if he's able to. But LeBron has teamed up with Prime for shoes. That'd be interesting to see what goes on there. I still see the Ernest Biner fumble. That was heartbreaking. Yeah. Mike had an infamous rant on my show. I think it was a little over 2 years ago about John Elway, and he even bought a shirt that says "I still hate John Elway."
Yep.
So,
yeah,
we weren't alive for it, but man, we felt the pain through our family.
It's in the bloodline.
Yeah,
and it's inescapable.
I've heard people say that's the worst moment still to this day they've ever watched. Steelers don't have a quarterback. No, they don't. Go ahead, Mike.
Vegas has the Browns wins for next year at 4.5. Over or under, gentlemen? I think it's safe to say the over.
I'll take the over. I think they're going to try to shoot for 7-8.
Yeah,
I think
a realistic
they
win total is like 7-10. Best case scenario, I think we go 9-8.
I mean, I get what Vegas is saying. There's a lot of uncertainty, and you're coming off of last year, but I think I'll take the over. Like I said, I think they're going to try to shoot for 7-8. I think if they can repeat 2018, they'll be in good hands. And I think that Jacksonville first round pick gives them more leeway to try to be more competitive. You know what I mean? Because I think everybody expects Jacksonville. You don't know what to expect there. They could be decent or they could be pretty bad. So
right. I'm scared Shedeur won't get a fair chance. Shedeur plays well. Browns lose a lot of games. Haslam wants a stadium, increase value off season, get Shiloh. Every sports media show will push Prime to Cleveland.
I'll answer this first. I don't think Prime's going to be an NFL head coach personally. I don't think he has a desire to do it. And I don't think Kevin Stefanski's going. I think they gave Stefanski a little more time. Because I think the Deshaun Watson thing was forced on this regime, which the ownership admitted. So I think Shedeur will get a fair chance because I think the ownership, if you want to make money for that stadium, which they need, Shedeur's the best bet. I bring it up all the time. Bronny James last year, who was a 55th overall pick in the NFL draft, was nearly not as obviously was not what Shedeur was in college. Now he obviously had the ailment and had the medical incident and stuff, but I don't think Bronny was ever as good as Shedeur was in football. You know what I mean? So, but he was still taking 55th overall, but he still generated like almost like I think it was like a $50 million almost in revenue. I think he sold like 100,000 jerseys in his first week he was drafted or some stat I heard. Gilbert Arenas talked about it. So if he generated that kind of money for the Lakers in that industry, I mean, Shedeur's already the number one, I think, jersey sales amongst all rookies. You look at the following he has, the shoes that they'll have with the Prime, his own. I'm sure he probably sells his own gear, merch. I mean, this guy, Jimmy Haslam's gonna be sitting there just looking at all the money just falling out of the sky, Mike. With him. So, and they're going to get more TV games with Shedeur. I think if they're at a position in the middle of the season where Shedeur is playing well and the Browns are obviously going to be one of the talks of the league, if that happens, and maybe they're competitive, I think they'll probably flex us in some night games. Right now we have no night games, but I think they'll probably flex us in some night games, Mike, probably later in the season, probably the Saturday night games or maybe a Thursday night or whatever. So he's a money machine. If I'm Haslam, that's what I'm looking at. From a business standpoint, you see his dollar signs. That dude is generating you some money. Look what they did at Colorado. Colorado was just some decent. It was a nice school, but it was a low level program. And look at all the money they generated in 2 years.
Oh yeah, insane amount of revenue.
And Colorado had some obviously big time. There's some big time money out there. They got some great big donors, but still, the TV games and all the stuff they've had in 2 years, you saw with the impact of that. So, you got anything to add to that, Mike?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I don't think Dion's gonna coach in the NFL, and with the revenue that the Haslams are getting, I think they're gonna get that stadium no matter what. But I still think Shedeur is gonna get a fair shake this year.
I think he's gonna end up playing the most games out of everybody.
Yeah, I agree.
My dad went to. Oh, sorry. My dad went to one of the World Series games in the 90s. He still couldn't believe they didn't win.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry to your pops, man. It's been a rough time with being a Cleveland sports fan. Prime said the only way to coach if he can coach both his sons. Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be interested. I just don't think the Browns. I just don't see a Kevin Stefanski departure from Cleveland anytime soon, Mike. Do you? I mean, unless something catastrophic happened last year.
Yeah, it'd have to be
next
catastrophic.
Year.
I just don't think that'll happen with this regime. Stefanski he's a solid coach.
Now, this scenario I think would be interesting. He said if they win 4 games, Shedeur plays well. I'm telling you, the prime effect is real. I think if they win 4 games, Mike, that could be. I'm sure it'd be a rumor, but I don't know what the interest is and how. I mean, I don't know. But I would never say never. You never know. But right now, I just don't see it. But we got to see how it plays out first.
Yeah.
You are Dylan Gabriel. What's your role play level? I'm concerned that you will not be on the Browns by the start of the 26th season. Low, mid, or high? I'd say high.
I'd say mid to high. Yeah.
I'll say high. I just don't see it. I mean, I just, even as a backup, I wouldn't put him out there, Mike. I'm just being honest. I wouldn't put him out there as a backup.
I mean, as a backup,
I'm not hating on the kid. He's very talented at all. Kid was very successful in college. Kudos to him for making the NFL. He's part of the 2% that makes it. But he's great talent, and he worked his ass off to get here. But from my observation of NFL quarterbacks, I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback. Like if on my draft board, he wouldn't even been on my board.
He was on my board, but very late.
He would have been on like a late, yeah. He'd have been the 7th round pick, like maybe a Brock Purdy swing and a miss, But I just don't. He wouldn't have been on my board, not till the 7th round. But even then, I probably would have took a guy that's taller. And yeah. All the celebrities come. Maybe they'll prove us wrong. Hey, prove us wrong. We'll love you. All the celebrities coming out to the CU games. Oh yeah, they'll all be at the Browns. I know there's some. Who's the rapper said she's already come out to a Browns game?
Oh, I don't know, bro.
They'll all be flooding the sidelines, and
you're asking the wrong hombre.
Yeah, they'll all be coming to Cleveland, and it'll be a scene for sure. So, but it'll be a party for sure if they're winning. I can tell you that. That's what I'm saying. Oh, we already went over this. Maybe Gabriel is good, but he didn't get a chance or anything at Oregon or Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, he was very successful at Oregon. I thought he did his role. I thought he did his job. That at Oklahoma, he was played pretty well. Down when he was down at, I think it was UCF. I think it was. Was played pretty well. He's always been very good everywhere he's been. So, I mean, I'm not saying he can't. Anything's possible. I just do it. I just think I think he's up against a lot of odds.
Yeah,
because of his height and just. I think Shedeur's is better too by a lot.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, Kenny Pickett's
better. Joe Flacco's better. Kenny Pickett, I would say, is even better than Dylan.
Kenny Pickett's better. Yeah. Does part of you as a Browns fan think the team will never win a Super Bowl till ownership changes at some point?
No, I mean, owners.
Fair question. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, owners don't change all that much. I mean, I wouldn't call Jerry Jones a good owner. And I mean, he's won Super Bowls in the past. I mean, there are a bunch of teams with quote unquote bad ownership that have at least made it to a Super Bowl. I mean, Mike Brown for the Bengals, his cheapest owner in all of sports, is not a good owner. He at least made it to a Super Bowl. Ownership doesn't really do all that much. I mean, it sucks that in the past, Jimmy's been meddlesome. He's starting to move away from that now. I don't think it's so much bad ownership, good ownership. There's really not too much of a distinction in my mind. It's just whether or not you're meddlesome or not. And now that Jimmy's not being meddlesome, I think that's why we've operated more like a regular football team, at least with this past regime. We've had 2 playoff appearances. We've been competitive. The only really bad season we've had in the Stefanski-Berry era was last year. Now that's being said, we've had plenty of years where we didn't meet expectations, but, the Browns, I don't think it's so much ownership. It's just, he's just got to stay out of his way, man. It's when Haslam was being meddlesome. Meddlesome equals bad ownership. The best owners just stay away, let the football guys do what the football guys do and collect their billions of dollars. That's what the best owners in the NFL do.
I'm going to take a sip before I give my answer. Shout out Liquid Death. Hit us up. Look, here's my thing with the Haslams all along. I think it's a fair question you asked. Very fair. I did a lot of stuff last year on my show about this. One of my biggest videos I ever did was called the San Diego Browns. Where does that come from, the San Diego Browns? Well, Paul DiPodesto, you guys probably know Mr. Moneyball, has a lot of involvement in the Browns organization. Basically, in my opinion, has been their president, like Michael Lombardi put in an article before he took the job at UNC. After the Commanders game last year, that debacle of that game, he put in that article basically about how Paul DiPodesto has basically been their president of football operations without having the actual title for the last almost 10 years now, since 2016. So I think what Haslam's biggest thing is in terms of meddling is I think he got duped by too much analytics. And it's not that analytics are bad. I think it's a tool that you use. But I think having a guy like Paulie Podesta, who really is the face of analytics at sports, and why he can get that kind of title of basically running the team like that, I think if Jimmy Haslam truly wants to win here in Cleveland, I know he likes Paul, and I'm sure Paul's probably a nice guy. But in terms of winning games, you have to tell that guy, listen, you can help. You play your role in terms of information and whatever. And I'm sure he's useful in a lot of areas. He's probably a very smart man. And he probably helps out with information. But I think you need to let the football guys have the full autonomy to do what they want to do in terms of Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, definitely your coaching staff, and let them have the full autonomy to do what they want to do. Because as a Didi Kinkabala, CBS reporter, is very close to all these guys have said before. Last year, she reported that she didn't believe that he always had the full autonomy to do what he wanted to do, and that's a problem. And speaking of Kevin Stefanski, so that's my biggest concern. That's the only thing, in my opinion, that holds them back from winning a Super Bowl. If he allows those guys to do what they want to do, I think they can go. They can reach their goals one day, maybe.
Yeah.
If they're good enough. Maybe he may not be the guy. You may have to find it somewhere else. But always let your guys that you hired with the football PhD do their damn job.
Correct.
Browns had to match the town with the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs.
Yep.
Finish up here. We only got a couple more. My Chargers never win with our ownership. Shout out to Richie.
They got some weird ownership out there in LA.
Yeah. Got Justin Herbert. Maybe. Well, I know last year kind of. I don't know. Would you say a down year last year, or?
I mean, they were
for Herbert.
No, I mean, they're changing their offense. You know, they're going to that Harbaugh style.
Yeah, I think he's great. But yeah, that Jerry Jeudy 300 game versus the Broncos last year made me feel.
That was awesome.
Made me
called that game.
Yeah, we called that game, and Mike had some hell of a calls that night.
That was a fun game to call, man.
That was a fun game. I wish we would have won that game, but
yeah. I wish we would have too. That was a
last comment here. He said Prime is change. Get every negative person out of the building. Parking ticket people has a part of NFL staff right now. Haslam as a business owner in Cleveland would become America's team. I'll shut up. I'm not saying you're wrong, Go Bucks. I can see where you're coming from, and I think Haslam, if they had a bad enough season, would be tempted by that to maybe make a phone call or whatever. But I don't know. I just right now I don't see it, but I get it. It's always going to be a question, and he would obviously that probably be the biggest story in the NFL. Took over with the Browns, head coach, obviously. So, Richie said they want to be a run first team with a top 7 quarterback. Shaking my effing head.
Yeah, the Chargers.
Oh, you talking about the Chargers? I'm thinking.
Yeah, he was talking about his Chargers.
I'm not surprised though. That's who Harbaugh is.
Yeah, that's who he is, man. And
that's his bread and butter. He's going to pound the rock. That's what he does.
And honestly, man, I think it was more just like that receiving core is god awful out there, brother. I mean, I think you'll agree with that. I mean, Ladd McConkey's good, but a wide receiver one, he is not.
He was a rookie last year.
And he was a rookie. And then, Quentin Johnston, unfortunately, has been kind of a bust for y'all. And, I think it's more so just the state of your wide receiving and tight end core than anything. He's just trying to, take as much pressure off of Herbert as possible. But, yeah, I love Justin Herbert. They picked a receiver, right? Am I crazy? Who was there? I do not remember the Chargers draft picks very well.
I don't either. Because all I remember was our draft picks. They took a Marion Hampton. Yeah, Trey Harris.
Okay.
And it took Keandre Lambert-Smith. And
Trey Harris should be good. Trey Harris is a dog. And a Marion Hampton, that running back duo between him and Najee Harris is going to be interesting to watch. I loved a Marion Hampton coming out. So
they took a tight end, Rondé Gatson, I believe is his name. Gatson,
yeah,
from Syracuse. And actually, and Keandre Lambert-Smith from Auburn.
So hopefully, with all of these new offensive picks, the Chargers can recoup a little bit.
Yep. Well, Mike, it was another great show tonight.
Great show.
Before I let you take over and close it out, I'll say everybody please like, subscribe, and share. and we really appreciate you guys' subscriptions this month. Especially in the last week, it's been great. And so please hit if you haven't subscribed already, please tap the subscribe button. It's free. It's a simple tap of the button. And if we get to 1,000 subscribers, Mike's getting that tattoo.
I am getting a tattoo once we hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, he's going to get the tattoo with the Browns Bulldog logo with aviators on, wearing a Colorado Buffaloes chain. And we already got the spot picked out. So you better subscribe. Tell everybody else to subscribe. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers, and that tattoo's happening. It'll be live streamed. You guys will see it live. It'll be documented.
3-hour live stream, just watching me get a tattoo, answering sports questions. It'll be fun for all.
Yeah, painful for you, but fun for us.
Painful for me, but fun for all.
But you guys better subscribe. And
but
shout out to everybody nice that Mike Williams is back, but he will be heard at some point. Hope not. But shout out to you. Shout out to y'all fellas working late. Appreciate Evan for tuning in, and appreciate to you also 5%. Appreciate the live stream, fellas. Absolutely, and please, like I said, please subscribe. We'd like to see you guys back, and we love your guys' feedback and interact with you guys. And we also dropped a comment here. Drop the comment. We'll also drop the link in the chat at times so you guys come up here and join and give your take. We also have a call-in line. We open up our postseason lives are some of probably our favorite lives because we let you guys really come up here and interact with us as well and give your take. So he said, I think you are 2 from plus 50 last night. When you all be live again? Maybe sometime this week. Stay tuned. We don't have a set schedule this week. I know Sunday night we probably will be live. Sunday is usually a consistent day. Mike usually goes live during the week. We have another show as well. Sports betting show called The Fix with Dan and Chris. Here's a sneak peek of that for you guys. So stay tuned for them. They should be going. They should have their next show here pretty soon. I'll text Dan and we'll get the date set. Should be sometime this month. So I'll be looking forward to it. But love all you guys. Like, subscribe, and share. And Mike, I'm gonna salute my way out of here. Take it over, brother. I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you all so much for joining us on another episode of The Professional Fan. I
forgot to say.
He forgot to say something.
I got to say this in this show. Stay professional.
He stole the words. But yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining The Professional Fan. I'm Professional Mike. That was Joseph Flatman. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this content. It really helps us out. We're up and coming. We've gained a decent amount of subscribers actually a ton of subscribers. I'm not going to be humble. The past couple days. Thank you guys so much for your support, and your continued support is definitely appreciated. Help us get to the point we want. Live stream and tattoo at 1,000 subs. And once again, always and forever, stay professional.